A Coded Cult. I'm Jason Horton.
I'm Rebecca Lieb.
And this is Ghost Town.
In 2013, if you were a Windows PC player, you could step into the digital, mundane-turned-dystopic world of an alternate reality Kanye West, where you'd encounter famous friends and enemies, Nicki Minaj, Tupac, or Jay-Z, and try to save the world. But what was an innocuous and unlicensed video game would become something bigger, something maybe conspiratorial. Today we'll be talking about the hip-hop-themed science fiction 2D role-playing game Kanye Quest 3030, and its possible ties to the mysterious cult of Ascensionism. That's a lot of adjectives, but I swear they will pay off. It all started on July 22nd, 2013, when an indie game called Kanye Quest 3030 became available for Windows, on Steam, Newgrounds, and lots of other popular gaming sites. It was made by a designer named Phoenix and inspired by classic RPGs with Pokemon-like aesthetics. Think bright colors, heavy pixelation, and a kind of sense of humor about it. Pretty common for indie game identities of the time. If you don't believe me, let me describe to you the premise of Kanye Quest 3030, which was not, of course, licensed or authorized in any way by the musical artist Kanye West. In Kanye West 3030, it is the year 2010, and you are the famous Kanye West. One day you're taking out the garbage in your fabulous mansion when you trip and fall into a portal, which takes you to the year 3030. Things are different in 3030 America. The US has become a dystopian society ruled by the clone of rapper Lil B, who claims to be a god. This future world knows Kanye is on his way because they're briefed about a prophecy, which claims that Kanye West would return one day and overthrow Lil B. When the prophecy is made known to you, you might stay in this future dystopia and team up with other musicians like Jay-Z, Tupac, and Reza to fight for a free America. But not all musicians are allies in 3030. Along the way, Eminem, Nicki Minaj, De La Soul, and LL Cool J are trying to stop you in your tracks and protect the godlike powers of Lil B. The game is played similarly to Pokemon, where each rapper has their own special move and ability based on their persona and status in the music industry. As Kanye, you're challenged by different rappers who wander the streets and must get help from them or defeat them to level up and progress in the game. It's almost like Kanye made this game, right? He didn't, I swear. When you beat the game, you, as the glorious Kanye West, declare yourself the one true based god and return to 2010, where you continue to take out the trash like nothing happened. This game was consumed and marketed as an ARG, or an alternative reality game. Not surprising, you're walking around as Kanye. The classic definition of an ARG is a fictional narrative that unfolds over time, using the real world as a platform to tell a story that gives players control, or the illusion of control, over the events that unfold. According to RGN.com, some ARGs may ask you follow narrative threads from one platform to another. If you see a business card while watching a YouTube video, check to see if the company has an online presence, or try calling the telephone number. Players typically work together to piece together bits and scraps of information to uncover larger stories, acting like narrative archaeologists. Often, the community of players that form around these games can help you point in the right direction. And again, I'm all about this, but also there is a dark side to it. An example, according to a Medium.com article by Olivia Wendy, is the I Love Bees ARG. ARGs will usually involve real-life actions, so with the I Love Bees game, high-profile gamers would find random jars of honeypots delivered to their homes with the words, I love bees, written on the jars. This would fuel interest and mystery. Still, I'd imagine it was a bit of a letdown when the gaming community realized that the I Love Bees ARG initiative was an elaborate marketing campaign for the upcoming Halo 2 release. At the end of the day, ARGs seem great and creative, again, right up my alley, but often have a goal which is less experiential and artistic than corporate and economy-driven. Kanye West 3030 came and went quickly. It didn't make a lot of money, the game was free to download and play, and it didn't get much press. It was featured on some gaming sites like Newgrounds and Kotaku, but with its mixed responses from critics and lack of revenue, it was regarded as a failure. Still, the blending of real-world existence and gaming existence, and maybe with a bit of the ARG effect in the back of everyone's minds, is what springboarded this 2013 game from a bit of an indie failed experiment into something completely different. But let's pause now and take a break.
Riddle me this. Why was the 8-month-old cadaver of Pope Formosus dug up and put on trial at St. Peter's Basilica? And which foreign leader stole a pocket watch from Winston Churchill? For these answers and more, tune into the History Obscura podcast. This is the place where history's forgotten secrets are unshelved from my vast firelit book repository and reintroduced into the world. Learn stories of ancient UFO encounters, royal troublemakers, martyrs, and monsters. Join me every Saturday night for a fresh tale. That's History Obscura Podcast, available wherever you get your podcasts.
Hi, hello, how are you?
Hello.
Checking in.
Checking in, deep breaths. This is not a meditation
Short,
podcast.
shallow, panicked breaths.
That's right. This is not a meditation podcast, but it could be if you're really stressed, and this brings down your stress maybe a notch and a half.
Yeah,
Is that
I mean,
helpful?
I think that we qualify as a health podcast.
Self-help?
Yeah, we're definitely self-help.
Oh, okay.
We want to say hello to anyone who's listening, anyone who's shared the podcast, spread the good word, the gospel, I guess.
Good word of Ghost Town.
And anyone who's a patron, thank you. And to our government, the mayors, David Bull,
Hello.
James Harrington,
Hello.
Dara Rosenzweig,
Hello.
Ashley Q T R Matson. You figure out what that that's her street name.
Yeah, damn. I was like, is that a QR code or something darker?
It's Q-tier.
Q-tier. Okay. Yeah.
And one governor to rule them all.
That's right.
Avian Noble. So if you want early access, bonus episodes, none of this chit chat.
No, none of the bullshit. Cut this shit.
Patreon.com/GhostTownPod. That takes us right into an Apple Podcast review.
Right in. Let's dive right
and
in.
thank you to anyone who's left one. And if you haven't,
do it.
why not? Why? What's holding you back?
Let's get into it. The self-help portion of this.
Yeah. What is, you know what I mean?
Your mother, your father, your siblings, your ex.
Or it's a waste of time and you have better things to do and you don't care. That's probably more accurate.
Can't be that.
Great stories, annoying banter, 4 stars. Enough said. That's the review.
I love enough
Eggs and beer from the US&A.
Wow.
That's the best amount of stars we've gotten for what I consider a honest review. And
Yeah.
I have no problem with it.
No.
It is. I mean, you think I listen to these when I'm editing them, and it is annoying. But sometimes I'm like, this is funny. Sometimes I'm like, ooh.
Very rarely.
Sometimes I'm like, shut up.
What's
people.
going on here? I know. I like that. Really, that should have been 2 stars. That should have been a 50-50 good stories, bad banter.
No, the stories are so good.
Powerful.
That it's only 1 star takes away from the annoying banter like this.
Okay.
But for a low $2 a month, you can get these episodes ahead of time with none of this. No ads.
Yeah.
No banter.
Ham and eggs.
And you can take all that. It's like, oh, I can't get that time back. You can get it back.
You
Adding
never lose
years onto your life.
Yeah, so many years, especially the early episodes.
Oh, yeah. You could be 20 again, or no matter what age you are.
Yeah, you'll look 20, I promise. I'll make you that promise.
And we got one via email from the ghosttownpod.com website from Melissa.
Okay.
Hey, Melissa. Melissa Anderson. I'll say her last name.
Chill.
It's a pretty common last name. I've seen people's identities and stuff. They don't
Yeah,
want to be whatever.
Dox them.
Here's your social security number. We'll start with that. Just a heads up. I don't have Apple or Spotify, but left a review on Facebook and Audible. Love the podcast. Weird though, I listen on iHeartRadio and most of the ads tell me to either pause or stop listening altogether and switch to another podcast. Their algorithm must know that, like, listen, I'm going to save you guys a lot of trouble.
Yeah.
Get out.
Get out now, quick.
Save yourselves. Think about your families.
Yeah.
I don't know if those are standard ads, but it's a little weird on a recent commute to be told over and over again to listen to something else now.
That is incredible.
And I think even it's a very common verbiage to be like, pause the podcast you're listening to right now. Subscribe. But I don't think that means like,
don't leave.
Yeah, don't burn
this bridge.
Yeah, don't burn it down. Don't burn it all down. But if maybe they're saying like, pause the podcast you're listening to right now forever.
Yeah.
And listen to us forever.
Exactly.
But it's constantly people just saying, no, pauses come here. No, pauses come here. No, pauses come here. Then there's just no everyone's just pausing
podcasts and subscribing. You're subscribed to tons of podcasts, but you don't listen to them because you keep pausing them to go subscribe to other podcasts.
Yes.
And then also, if you're already subscribed to one that's already an ad, then you're unsubscribing by pressing that same button, and you're back to square one.
And if you're like, well, I want to know the Jason Horton story. I was a guest on a podcast, and I get asked to do. You get asked to do podcasts. You're on a bunch. I get asked a bunch. They either don't work out, or I don't have things. Sometimes don't happen. And I also, not that I don't like doing it. I love talking about doing stuff, and I would do it if it was just easy for me to set up stuff and just do it and not have things switch around. Mm-hmm. But I was on one, and I talked about myself for 1 hour and a half, if not more.
What one was that? Plug it.
It is Wasted Radio. Buddy Matt, Pennsylvania. It's kind of hardcore stuff. It's, I think, wasted.radio is the Instagram, so you can go listen to it there. It should be out by the time you're listening to this. Wasted Radio HC Specialty Show, or wasted.radio on Instagram. And he has hardcore bands and punk and talks about that, but also has other people. And, he found Ghost Town.
Awesome. And
got on there, and we talked about kind of how my trajectory, like that whole story, kind of reliving that as time goes on, which I haven't done in a while. I'm like, okay, wow, I'm old. And then talking about comedy, and then, how Ghost Town happened and how we made that happen. And, because also it's a podcast, so it was, make some connections. And then talked a lot about music. So that took up, just two dudes talking about, not even the old days, the nowadays, but just about bands, and like a very kind of like, that nerding out, as they say. Yeah. Talked about upcoming book and all that stuff, and kind of hit all those points. So if you were like, what makes Jason Horton tick? Huh? What is it? Is it just going to bed at 10:30 every night and eating cauliflower crust pizza?
Ooh.
I don't know. Is there anything more? Well, check out Wasted Radio and you will hear.
That's amazing.
But I'm no Kanye.
You're no Kanye, but you know who is not Kanye? Let's get back to this indie video game that is about Kanye West, but also not at all. So the game has failed, right? It's gone into the abyss of video games of years past. But on January 28th, 2015, 2 years or so after Kanye Quest 3030 was released, an anonymous user uploaded a pastebin where they described what happened after they randomly decided to try to beat the game, something they'd never done before. So the pastebin entry starts. This morning I played Kanye Quest for the first time in forever. I never played past maybe 5 minutes of it the first time before quitting for 2 years, so I decided to really sit down and play it. For those of you still unaware, Kanye Quest 3030 is a video game whose setting is that Kanye gets warped from 2010 into the future, where an evil clone of Lil B is running the entire US while pretending he's the original Lil B, who has been dead for nearly 1,000 years. Again, I can't get enough of the premise of this game. After getting to an early portion of the game, the player noticed that one of the terminals that Kanye can interact with displayed a message. At first glance, the message seemed like nonsense, but the player realized that maybe it wasn't. Quote, I realized it said, ascend and worship the based god, they wrote on pastebin. I thought, oh, cool fluff messages, and just kept walking. A little later in the game, you encounter someone in the street who randomly asks you, what do you want to do? You're given a 6 blank space response where you can put in any character. So the player puts in ascend, just for fun, because it was one of those gibberish words displayed earlier. To the player's surprise, the screen flashes and they're teleported to a whole new part of the game, where they transform into a butterfly. Now, as a humor indie game where you play Kanye, that doesn't seem like super outlandish, but prior to this discovery, no one had ever come across this part of the game before, at all, ever. Nobody knew it was there, there was no references to this portion of the game, or any write-ups or YouTube videos, nobody covered it. It's here that the player is greeted with an insane message. It says, congratulations. You've proven yourself to be an open-minded and curious thinker. We must apologize for deceiving you, but we can reveal that the game you were playing until this point was a front constructed to protect what you're currently accessing. We must ask that you do not reveal this area to the public. If you believe that you may be prone to revealing information or do not wish to participate, please close this program immediately by pressing Alt F4 or selecting the No option when it appears. By selecting the Yes option, you agree to participate and not reveal information. So if you select yes, the program says, The following is a thought exercise designed to help teach you something beneficial. By undertaking this exercise, you will hopefully be affected in a positive way. Due to the nature of this exercise, this something cannot be revealed immediately. This exercise may or may not be restricted to this software. It is important to remember that the purpose of this exercise is to benefit you. You will not be timed. We cannot provide any more information except that we wish you good luck. You may begin now. Welcome to your ascension. You're then put into a level that has a bunch of horizontal hallways that get smaller and smaller. Inside each one, there are terminals. These terminals don't offer any information besides a Roman numeral and a prompt with 8 blank spaces. People have navigated and data mined the game, which gave them some of the passwords, a mix of common everyday words like hatch and idle, and strange words like jagatai and flakun. If you walk south from there, you reach a large 4-room area with a black and white mural in the center. If you take screenshots of each part of the mural and paste them together, you get a QR code that redirects you to a site which is now dead. This is the final terminal, and a message pops up that says, "You have proven your worth once again. You have ascended. However, further ascension is always possible. If you do not wish to ascend further, your journey ends here, so please close this program by pressing Alt F4 or selecting the No option above. By selecting the Yes option, you agree to participate further and you grant us permission to interact with your possessions. Would you like to participate? If you choose No, you're sent to a title screen. If you choose Yes, it shows this. Over the following 2-week time period, we will interact with you and your possessions in several ways. Keep an eye out, as some of the ways may be subtle. Others may not be. We may attempt to contact you directly. If we do this, we will attempt to notify you of our presence using a keyword. If you still consent to participation, please select the Yes option above. Do you wish to participate? If you say yes, the game asks you for your name and address. The pastebin says that if you give the game your information, it thanks you and says, "Enjoy the next 2 weeks and await instruction." After this post, many people typed in Ascend and got into this area of the game, typed in their info, and nothing happened. Many people have also contacted the developer, Phoenix, but no word from Phoenix. In fact, the last update on the official website was on 8/23/13. Oddly, the theme on the Tumblr website is called Accent. The player from Pastebin has a particular interpretation of the hidden area of this game. According to them, the game seems like it's a recruitment tool for a cult, specifically the Ascension cult. Hence the name of the first password and the repeated mentions of the word ascend. So what even is Ascensionism? Well, it was pretty hard to get information, as there isn't much out there. What I do know is that Ascensionism entered public consciousness around the same time that the game was released. Allegedly, Ascensionism is a fringe religious group claiming to be the new breed of humanism, deeply rooted in transhumanism. It dates back to at least 2006, for whatever reason. Again, I'm not sure, I couldn't find a lot of information about it. But Ascensionism is regarded, or at least mentioned online, as a cult. They're also rumored to have connections with the music industry, most specifically the label Ascensionism Records. So then I looked up Ascensionism Records. The only real through line between Kanye Quest and Ascensionism Records formally is that Ascensionism Records did itself design an ARG called Calypso, which is similarly designed and kind of cryptic like Kanye Quest. Still no word from Phoenix, Ascensionism Records, or anyone affiliated with the game. Until they comment, this might just have to be a cult or cult-adjacent internet mystery, one that thrives in the minds of curious gamers and Reddit. Unfortunately, Kanye West was not available for comment.